Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you not to teach you how to make money, but to remind you who you truly are. You are not here to beg for abundance. You are here to embody it. You are not a servant to money. You are its master, because you are the frequency from which money flows. I am the frequency of money. Let those words soak into your being. When you say I am, you are activating the most powerful creative force in the universe. Whatever follows those two words becomes your reality, not by accident, but by divine law. If you say, I am struggling, then struggle becomes your truth. But when you boldly declare, I am abundant, I am wealthy, I am aligned with the frequency of money, you are not lying to yourself. You are speaking a deeper truth than what your senses currently show you, because your outer world is just an echo of your inner state. If you want more money, you must first tune your mind, your emotions, and your vibration to match what wealth feels like. Not tomorrow, now. Feel what it's like to walk into a room and know you belong. Feel what it's like to pay without fear, give without lack, and receive without guilt. Don't chase the money, it runs when chased. Become the source from which it flows. You see, money doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to certainty. It is a mirror. It reflects back the story you keep telling yourself in silence. So what story are you telling? Is it the story of scarcity or the story of sovereignty? The universe is not withholding from you, it is responding to you. And when you align your feeling, your thought, and your imagination with wealth, money comes. Opportunities open, people show up, doors appear where before there were only walls. You do not need to know how, that's not your role. Your role is to live in the state of the wish fulfilled, to walk, talk, breathe, and move, as though the reality you desire is already yours. And here's the truth, it is already yours. It exists in a dimension beyond time, waiting for you to tune in. Money is not coming to you. Money is waiting for you to step into its frequency. So from this moment forward, speak as money would speak. Think as wealth would think. Feel as abundance would feel, because you are not here to get rich. You are here to realize that you are already rich. You are the source, you are the vibration, you are the frequency of money. And once you know that everything changes, I am is the most powerful statement a human being can make, because it is not just a phrase. It is the declaration of identity, the claiming of a state of being. When you say I am, you are not merely describing yourself, you are activating the creative force that shapes your reality. That which you attach to the words I am begins to take form in your world. This is not symbolic, it is literal, energetic, and absolute. To become the frequency of money, one must first understand that money is not something outside of you. It is not a distant goal or a scarce resource to be chased. It is a vibration, a frequency, a state of consciousness that you can enter right now, and the portal to that state is I am. When you say I am wealthy, you are not hoping for wealth, you are becoming wealth. You are aligning your identity with the frequency on which wealth exists. This is where most people falter. They speak of what they want, but they do not claim it in the present tense. They say, I want to be rich. And in doing so, they affirm their current state of not having. The universe hears, I want, and mirrors back lack. But when you say, I am rich, even if your bank account says otherwise, you are issuing a command to the unseen laws of creation. You are stepping into the version of you that money already recognizes. You must assume the feeling of the state desired. This assumption is not wishful thinking, it is spiritual law. To assume the state of wealth is to walk, breathe, and make decisions as though you already are wealthy. Not someday, not if the economy changes, now. Because when you take on the energy of already being, you no longer resist it by noticing its absence. The I am state is not just verbal, it's vibrational. You can say, I am wealthy, 100 times and still block the flow if you feel poor inside, but when you say it and mean it, when your inner being accepts it as truth, then everything starts to align. People, circumstances, and unexpected channels begin to appear, not because you forced them, but because you matched the vibration where they already existed. All realities already exist. There is a version of you who is already living in ease, freedom, and overflow. That version is not far away. It is right here in consciousness. The only difference between the you who lacks and the you Who prospers is the frequency you choose to dwell on. I am is how you shift timelines. It is how you move from one state of consciousness to another. It is how you access the version of you who is the frequency of money. When you say, I am the frequency of money, you are not asking, you are aligning. You are choosing to see yourself not as someone who gets money, but as someone through whom money flows easily and continuously. You become magnetic to wealth because you have stopped resisting it with thoughts of lack. You have stopped worshipping it from a distance and instead taken ownership of your creative role in its manifestation. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is the humble recognition that the source of all supply is within you, not outside of you. You were never meant to chase money. You were meant to embody its vibration, to feel its frequency, to become so familiar with the state of abundance that lack feels foreign. Every time you say I am, you are issuing a command. You are sculpting your reality. Speak wisely, declare boldly, feel fully, because the universe responds not to what you want, but to what you are. And what you are, you declare with every breath, every thought, and every word that follows I am. So say it again, and this time believe it. I am the frequency of money. Feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the language of creation, the magnetic current that draws what is unseen into form. If you desire to become the frequency of money, it is not enough to think about wealth. You must feel wealthy. The feeling of abundance must live in your body, in your breath, in the way you carry yourself. Thought alone cannot move mountains, but feeling aligned with belief. This is the true alchemy. Many people attempt to manifest wealth by thinking positively or reciting affirmations, but inside, they are still holding on to anxiety, doubt, and lack. The mind says, I want to be rich, but the heart whispers, I don't believe it's possible for me. That inner conflict is the blockage. It is the reason so many remain stuck despite reading all the books, saying all the right things, and working themselves to the bone. Money does not come through effort alone. It comes through energetic permission, and the doorway to that permission is feeling. When you feel aligned with money, when you feel safe, deserving, and grateful, you are tuning your frequency to match the energy that money lives on. You stop pushing money away through fear and start attracting it through inner coherence. You cannot fool the universe. You cannot pretend to feel abundant while secretly worrying about your next bill. But you can train yourself into the frequency of abundance. You can begin with small feelings of wealth, gratitude for what you have, pride in how far you've come, confidence in your ability to receive more. These emotions, when cultivated consistently, grow stronger. They create new neural pathways and new energetic patterns. Your state of being shifts, and the world around you rearranges itself in response. Money responds to the energy you carry, not the desperation of wanting, but the calm certainty of knowing. Have you ever noticed how money often flows to those who seem completely relaxed about it? That's not luck, that's alignment. They have released the emotional grip of need and instead embody the energy of already having. They feel rich before the evidence shows up, and in doing so, they create the space for that evidence to appear. Emotion is the signal you send to the field of possibility. It is the vibration that tells the universe what to bring next. When you feel joyful, secure, free, and open, those are the exact emotions money wants to be around. Money does not come to tension. It comes to expansion. It comes where it is welcome, not where it is feared, chased, or idolized. To become the frequency of money, you must ask yourself daily, how would I feel if I already had the wealth I desire? What would change in my body, my mood, my posture, my decisions? Then begin to feel that way now. Anchor into that emotional state as if it were already your reality, because in the quantum world, feeling it now is having it now. And here's the secret. Your feelings are not dependent on your circumstances. They are a choice. You can feel free even before the debt is cleared. You can feel powerful even before the business succeeds. You can feel abundant even before the bank account grows. The outside world always follows the emotional blueprint you set from within, always. So stop waiting for money to make you feel secure. Instead, let your feeling of security call in the money. Stop waiting for success to make you feel worthy. Feel worthy now, and success will come to meet you. You are not separate from the frequency of money. You are either resonating with it or you're not. But you can shift that at any moment, with a breath, with a thought, with a feeling. So close your eyes, breathe into your heart and ask, what does wealth feel like? Now choose to feel it, live in it. Radiate it, because when you do, the money must come. It has no choice. You have become its frequency. Imagination is not a daydream. It is not idle fantasy or wishful thinking. Imagination is the womb of reality, the place where all things are conceived before they are born into the physical world. To become the frequency of money, you must understand that imagination is not something you use occasionally. It is the very mechanism by which you create your life. Everything that exists around you was once imagined by someone. Every home, every business, every invention, every dollar, first lived in the invisible realm of thought before it became visible matter. To live from the end means to dwell in the consciousness of your fulfilled desire. It means you no longer hope for it. You know it is already done. You don't imagine money coming in the future. You imagine yourself already living in the wealth you seek. You see it, feel it, embody it as your current reality, even if nothing around you has changed yet. Because the moment you accept something as real within, the outer world begins to shift to match it. Not because of superstition, but because your inner state becomes the blueprint from which reality is built. Most people live to the end, always waiting, always trying to reach their goals. But this keeps them in a state of perpetual becoming, never arriving. They say things like, "One day I'll have enough," or "I hope it works out," never realizing that such statements push the fulfillment of their desires further away. The truth is, if you want to become wealthy, you must stop preparing for wealth and start living as if you already are. You must become it in imagination first. When you live from the end, you do not ask, "When will it happen?" You ask, "How would I feel now that it has already happened?" And then you let that feeling lead the way. You walk through your day with the calm confidence of someone who knows their abundance is real. You make decisions from that place. You interact with others from that place. You wake up grateful, not because of what might happen, but because in your inner world, it already has. The world responds to your inner pictures. If you constantly imagine bills, struggle, or lack, you are feeding those images with your attention, and your outer world reflects them back to you. But if you begin to see yourself as the wealthy one, calm, free, generous, and empowered, those images create a new vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet, and what you consistently hold in imagination with feeling and belief must eventually materialize. This is not about pretending. It is about stepping into your creative authority. Imagination is not a toy. It is a tool. It is sacred. And when you use it deliberately, you activate your power. You shift your frequency. You elevate your state of being to match the life you want to live. The key is to persist in that inner vision, even when the outer world contradicts it, especially then, because the world is always catching up to your dominant assumption. If you plant the seed of wealth in imagination and nourish it daily with feeling, faith, and repetition, it will grow. It must. That is law. You do not have to figure out how the money will come. That's not your role. Your role is to dwell in the state where you already have it. Let the universe arrange the details. Your imagination will guide inspired action. It will place you in the right place at the right time. It will call forth opportunities you could never predict, but only if you are faithful to the vision. So every morning, see yourself living your wealthy life. Visualize the bank account balance you desire. Imagine the home, the freedom, the joy, the giving, the ease, and then feel it as if it is happening now, because in the realm of imagination it already is. And when you live there long enough, the world will catch up. It always does. Faith is the invisible substance that holds all manifestation together. It is the certainty in things not yet seen, the unwavering knowing that what you seek is already yours in spirit, and will soon be yours in form. To embody the frequency of money, you must rise above fear, lack, and doubt. These emotions are not just mental states. They are energetic signals that disrupt the flow of abundance. Fear repels, faith attracts. Money does not flow to chaos, it flows to clarity, to trust, to certainty of being. Your relationship with money is an extension of your consciousness. If your internal world is filled with fear around survival, guilt around receiving, or shame around desiring more, then you will unconsciously block the very flow you are asking for. You may say with your mouth that you want wealth, but your energy tells a different story. This is where most people live, at war with themselves, wanting more but feeling unworthy of it, dreaming big but fearing it won't come. In that split, the frequency of money cannot land. To align with money, you must choose faith over fear again and again. Not because it's easy, but because it's essential. Faith is not a passive waiting, it is an active claiming. When you have faith, you behave as someone who knows. You do not beg, you do not plead, you do not shrink. You stand boldly in the truth that abundance is your natural state, and you walk forward with the energy of someone who has already received. Fear often arises because we are focused on appearances, the bills, the numbers, the balance sheets. But those are only shadows of past thoughts and beliefs. They are echoes, not truth. Truth lives in consciousness, and consciousness can shift instantly. You are not bound to your current circumstances. They are malleable, fluid, responsive to your inner world. The moment you shift your inner atmosphere from fear to faith, you set new things in motion. Faith says, even if I can't see it, I know it's coming. Faith says, my job is to believe, and the universe will handle the rest. Faith says, I am not limited by what's in front of me. I am aligned with a higher law. That law is the law of vibration, and money is a frequency that aligns with calm certainty, not panic or worry. Fear, on the other hand, broadcasts a message of distrust. It says, I don't believe it will happen for me. It says, I must figure everything out myself. And in that vibration, you separate yourself from the flow of ease, synchronicity, and supply. The universe cannot bring you what you do not believe you are ready for, and it will not violate the signal you are sending out. You must meet money where it lives, on the frequency of faith. This faith is not blind. It is built on the understanding that you are a creator, not a victim. It is built on the truth that your outer world is always a reflection of your inner conviction. When you believe that money is easy, it becomes easier. When you believe that wealth is natural, it begins to feel natural. When you believe that the universe is abundant and responsive, it begins to show you just how generous it can be. Faith also allows you to take inspired action. It removes the paralysis of overthinking. It clears the fog of uncertainty. You begin to move with clarity, not because you're forcing results, but because you're aligned. You take steps not out of fear of missing out, but out of excitement for what's unfolding. Money begins to show up in unexpected ways, not because you hustled harder, but because your energy became clearer, lighter, more open. So when doubt whispers, answer with faith. When fear tightens your chest, breathe deeper and remind yourself of the truth. You are the frequency of money. You are not chasing it. It is responding to you. And when you trust, truly trust that you are supported, the flow begins. Because money does not come from force. It comes from alignment. It comes through faith. Persistence is the secret ingredient that transforms unseen belief into tangible reality. To become the frequency of money, you must not only align with the state of abundance. You must persist in that alignment until it hardens into fact. This is where many falter. They begin to imagine, to feel, to affirm their wealth, but when outer conditions don't change immediately, they slip back into doubt, frustration, and fear. They abandon the state before it has had time to manifest. But reality is not instantaneous. It is delayed by design. That delay is not punishment. It is proof of the unfolding. When you plant a seed, you do not dig it up the next morning to check if it has sprouted. You water it, nurture it, and trust that beneath the surface, something real is taking shape. Your assumptions, your beliefs, your feelings are the seeds of your future. If you persist in the assumption that you are wealthy, even when everything outside you suggests otherwise, that assumption must eventually solidify into form. This persistence is not stubborn repetition, it is loyal embodiment. You hold the frequency of money not through desperate effort, but through calm consistency. You return to the state of abundance again and again, even when circumstances tempt you to react otherwise. You treat your inner world as the truth, and your outer world as the mirror that will, in time, reflect it. The challenge is that the world around you is loud. It shows you bank balances, invoices, responsibilities, and scarcity at every turn. But if you react to the world as it is, you only recreate more of it. The key is to respond not to what is, but to what you have claimed to be. You do not wait for evidence to feel secure. You let your feeling of security create the evidence. This is what it means to persist, to dwell in the end, no matter what the beginning looks like. Persistence also means embracing the power of revision. If you fall into old thoughts of lack or fear, you don't beat yourself up. You correct course. You revise the moment, you re-enter the state, you persist in becoming the version of yourself who already has it. The more often you return to that state, the easier it becomes. It starts to feel natural, automatic, true. And once it feels natural, manifestation is inevitable. You are not waiting for the world to change. The world is waiting for you to remain unchanged in your assumption. The moment you stop flipping between belief and doubt, the moment you anchor yourself fully into the frequency of money without needing proof, that's the moment the shift begins. The world doesn't respond to fleeting thoughts or momentary feelings. It responds to what you live. This is not about controlling outcomes. It is about controlling your inner state. It is about staying loyal to your vision even when the outer world is silent. It is about knowing that what you feel consistently becomes what you live eventually. Faith without persistence is like lighting a fire and walking away before it burns. But when you persist, when you keep feeding the flame of your chosen identity, it grows into reality. Most people give up just before the shift. They begin to doubt, to say it's not working, and in doing so, they halt the very process that was beginning to take shape. You must be more faithful to your desire than you are to your senses. You must persist with inner certainty, even in the absence of outer proof. So hold your vision, return to the feeling, assume the state, again and again and again, not with desperation, but with the quiet knowing that it is already done. That's the kind of persistence that changes worlds. That's the kind of persistence that makes you unstoppable. That's the kind of persistence that is the frequency of money. Gratitude is the emotional signature of abundance. It is the inner declaration that says, I have enough, and more is on the way. To become the frequency of money, you must dwell in the energy of appreciation, not just occasionally but as a way of life. Gratitude is not something you express only after things improve. True gratitude is a creative force. It is a frequency that opens doors, attracts more, and multiplies everything it touches. Most people misunderstand gratitude. They see it as a reaction to good things, not realizing it is actually the cause of them. If you wait to be grateful until money arrives, you delay the very flow you're seeking. But when you begin to express gratitude now, before the money, before the breakthrough, you align yourself with the vibration that allows it to come. Gratitude tells the universe, I recognize my blessings, I trust the process, I believe in the goodness that is unfolding, and the universe responds to that trust. When you are grateful for what you already have, no matter how small, you shift your focus from lack to plenty. That shift is everything. It moves you out of the vibration of fear and into the vibration of faith. It tunes your energy to notice opportunities, to feel supported, to see yourself as worthy, and what you focus on expands. If you are always noticing what's missing, life keeps giving you more of what's missing. But when you notice what's working, what's beautiful, what's present, even the smallest things, you activate the law of increase. Gratitude is not passive. It's not just saying thank you. It's a state of being. It is felt in the body, radiated through the heart, and reflected in your choices. When you wake up in the morning and feel appreciation for the bed you sleep in, the breath in your lungs, the light entering the room, you are already wealthy in consciousness, and wealth in consciousness precedes wealth in form. Many believe they'll feel grateful once they reach a certain financial goal, but that reverses the flow. The ones who become truly abundant are those who feel wealthy before any evidence arrives. They are thankful in advance. They walk through life with an inner knowing that all is working in their favor. They say thank you not because everything is perfect, but because they have decided to live in alignment with trust, with love, with abundance. Even in moments of struggle, there is always something to be grateful for: a lesson learned, a connection made, a moment of peace. Gratitude allows you to transmute difficult moments into gold. It lifts your perspective and helps you see that the journey itself is part of your expansion. Every challenge is a setup for more growth, more strength, more wisdom. And when you are grateful for it all, you stop resisting life and start flowing with it. To become the frequency of money, cultivate a daily practice of gratitude. Write it, speak it, feel it. Thank the money you already have, no matter how little. Thank every opportunity to give, to receive, to circulate energy. Thank your mind, your intuition, your ideas. Thank the people who support you, the ones who challenge you, and the unseen forces moving on your behalf. The more you give thanks, the more you become a magnet for blessings. Your energy becomes lighter, more attractive, more expansive. You stop chasing money and start attracting it. You stop worrying about how and when, and start living in the joy of now. Because gratitude grounds you in the present moment, and the present is where all power lies. You are not waiting to be rich. You are already rich in spirit, rich in experience, rich in potential. And when you claim that richness through gratitude, life mirrors it back with more and more and more. Gratitude is the door, gratitude is the signal, gratitude is the frequency of money. You are not here to chase money, you are here to become it. The frequency of money is not something outside of you, it is a state of consciousness that lives within. When you align your thoughts with clarity, your feelings with abundance, your imagination with fulfillment, your faith with certainty, your persistence with devotion, and your heart with gratitude, you unlock the flow of true wealth. You stop striving and start attracting. You stop doubting and start knowing. Money begins to show up not as a reward for struggle, but as a reflection of who you have chosen to become. You are not a beggar of life, you are its co-creator. So live as though it is already done. Feel it, see it, believe it, give thanks for it, and above all, remain unwavering in your alignment with that truth. You are the frequency of money, walk in it, speak from it. Create with it, and let the world rearrange itself in response to the power you've always had.